good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Ohm Service Live with me, Mark from SoulOhm Reviews, Chris from Lethal Coils, and Steve from Tales from the Ohm. Good evening, everybody. Hello, people in chat.
Good evening.
Good evening.
If you're wondering what Chris is doing, he's learning how to coil with 28 gauge wire. It's the first time he's ever done it, so...
No, it's not the first.
It's the very first time. He's not... We're going to see in a moment exactly what his actual endeavours are. Are we going to see what you've done?
I haven't done it much, but I have done it before.
Have you done it before? I thought it's first time. I thought you was a virgin.
No. That ended a long time ago.
Yeah, very, very nearly missed.
Well, since you're busy doing that, Steve, do you want to say hello to people in chat?
I certainly do now I clear my lungs of vapor. Right, good evening, Bill. Hey, Chris. Wonderful spanners. Alan, how you doing, kid? Alan. Good evening, Gav. Good evening, Ben. Grumpy old vapor. Horsham, good evening, darling. And you rein it in, Horsham, because I will slap you with my handbag. Right. Jason, good evening, sir. JP Ward, lovely to see you. Kev Arnold, good evening. Manic, how you doing, mate? Rachel, pleasure as always. Some SoulOhm bloke, I don't know who the hell he is. Domino Effect.
Domino.
Good evening. Well, good afternoon, isn't it?
He was on my show last night.
Timmy, how you doing, kid? And we have Vape Royalty in tonight, gentlemen. The wonder that is TVP.
Hey up, Mark.
The gentleman that shall be giving out the prizes over at Expo on October, so we can look forward to that.
Oh yeah, he's one of the judges, isn't he? Him, Chris, and Vic. Congratulations on that one. It's a nice. I think it's always a nice little honour to be asked to be a judge.
Too right, and I'm sure it'll go much better at Expo than it did at Jam. But we speak not of that event. So if I've missed anybody off, I do apologise. But hello, welcome, and it's fantastic to see you.
I guess Vaper Bunny's in too.
Oh, it's Bunny in.
Bunny!
Huggles!
Hello, sweetheart. Hope you're well over there. Oh, we can chill now. We can chill.
Yeah.
Before we get into the actual meat and two veg of the actual show, because obviously most of you know what we're going to be talking about.
Nobody said we were touching meat and two veg.
Well, there's going to be some definite meat and two veg tonight.
Before
we go any further, just let you know that we'll be announcing the winners of the Expo tickets tonight. That's also a good thing. And I'm going to kick off with Chris. Right, updates. Have you got any updates since last week?
As far as what? As far as my channel?
Yes.
My channel. No new updates. Still doing the Twitch streaming in the morning. Still doing my live shows on Wednesday. Doing the occasional just random live here and there. But other than that, just been pushing a lot of advocacy stuff lately. That's why I haven't been working too much on my channel. I've been working on making my phone calls, writing my emails, writing my letters, getting...
How's the phone calls been going? Because I've heard a lot of people that's been phoning the White House haven't been able to either get through or they've been actually having the phone put down on them.
Yeah, I've had hang-ups before, and the wait time is there. It's a real thing. I think the longest I've had to wait was about between 11 to 15 minutes. And, I'd say probably 3 to 4 out of 10 times I'll get hung up on, but just stay vigilant. Just keep making the phone calls. Don't stop.
Are you using your mobile when you're phoning it?
Yep.
You ought to record it and then upload it.
Absolutely.
I think we'd like to see that.
Yeah.
And then it would be an idea that to get the response from you, and it probably gives other people how to talk to them and that, and explain your story and things like that. I think that'd be a really good video, actually, if you could record
a
the
few
audio.
people have done that already. I think that's something that I'm going to kind of venture into myself.
Flash sheet.
Yeah, it's been done, but I think more people need to do it. Show people that you're making your calls, doing your duty. Maybe that'll push other people to do it as well.
Yeah. That's why I thought about if you did the video of it. I mean, obviously you don't have to see your face, but if you recorded it, then obviously you can, put a montage or something like that up over the top of the audio. I think that'd be absolutely cool. That it only has to be as long as obviously the telephone conversation is, but it's that inspiration giving for others to sort of get in touch with the actual White House regarding it. I think that'd be
absolutely
awesome.
And also. Go ahead.
Sorry, Chris. I was going to say, if they are putting the phone down, I think that needs to be out there as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you record that, do it for your own channel, but if you send me the actual video, I'll put it on the show as well.
Okay, absolutely. And also something to mention as well is that you don't have to live here in the States to do this. We appreciate everybody over the pond that's been helping us out, making their phone calls too. And it really, really does help. So to everybody over the pond in whatever country you might be in, thank you guys so much for your support and the help in this.
Awesome.
Yeah,
so
I was just going to say, I think we're getting to the point now where this is no longer just a country thing.
It's a worldwide thing now.
This is a worldwide thing.
With India, we've just lost what?
42 million.
Yeah, but something like 40. No, it's over 50%, isn't it? Of worldwide vapors, we've just lost.
Yep.
Stroke of a pen.
And don't forget that that's also going to affect the industry in a big, big way. With so many vapors coming from India, a lot of these bigger companies like Geek Vape, like Wotofo, like Vandy Vape, these companies get a lot of their revenue from India. So,
we'll talk about that in a sec when we'll get into the news section.
Yes.
I know we're all itching to actually talk about it because there's a lot to get through. So, Steve, have you got any updates?
Well, there was no Tales from the Home last Sunday, for which I apologise. And look what happens. We don't have a show. We go to bed and the world goes mental. Yeah. It's not right.
It's not right.
It's not right. It's mad. So we will hope to bring a little balance back to the cosmos on Sunday. No doubt, if there's more updates, we'll be touching on that anyway. Any other updates? Treated myself. As Vape Micro.
Baby, oh baby.
Oh, it's a dinky little thing, but nice little Billy Box style Stockholm.
I like
Stock
that.
core. It's lovely, 30 watts. I'm not a big fan of pods, but this was purchased for Expo, so I'm not lugging big bit of kit around, so we'll see how it goes. But yeah, other than that, no.
Me?
No updates.
Well,
What about you?
Best it's me then. Right, I've had a week off. I thought I've earned a week off, so I've actually had a week off, but I haven't had a week off because I've been doing stuff in the background. So yeah, there was no reviews this week, but yeah, there's been stuff going off. Sunday's going to be a mega busy day for me. I'll be doing my up and closes like normal for the following week's review. Plus, we'll be doing the live show on Tales of the Ohm at 2 o'clock. Plus, I will be doing a vlog as well. That vlog is the 4-year of the channel, celebrating that, and also hitting the 3K. Plus, there's going to be the big box giveaway as well, so you'll have to check that one out. So I'll be sorting all that lot out, and my dear friend Steve will be coming to my house tomorrow, and we'll be sorting out the website to get the actual giveaway set up and all that good stuff. And that's about it for me, really. It's been a semi-chilled week. It was my dad's 80th birthday yesterday, so I know my dad don't watch this, but happy birthday, Dad.
Happy birthday, Dad.
So we was all at our Aiden's and we had a little cake, a Manchester United cake. Mark, you were a Manchester United cake. I ain't got a clue. So my dad's a Manchester United fan. So yeah, that's it. That's about it. Now, obviously, buffet time. Buffet, yes. So I'll go first. I'll give it to you, Steve, and then Chris, because obviously he's still playing with his 28 gauge wire.
I'm probably going to be fiddling for a little bit.
So you better hurry up. On top, I have got the Monster SoulOhm tank, which I'm thoroughly enjoying with the V-Mod in that. I've got Vintage Raspberry, which I'm still enjoying, still going through that lot. Very, very simple tonight. On there, I've got my Kylin M still on the Hex in there. I've got Deluxe Pancake Man. Beautiful. I love this stuff. Gorgeous. And also, I've got the Yeah 2. I'm going to get the name wrong. Cremu, Kremu. Cremu?
Yeah, Cremu.
Cremu. And in that, I've got a mango raspberry ice cream from Double Drip. And that is what I'm on this evening.
Very nice.
And drink-wise, there only is one.
You see, that can look so much bigger in your hands.
It's huge, isn't it? Look, it's only the same size as my head.
Dear God. Right. So, on the Asvape Micro, inside that I've got some salts, 10 milligram Nick salts, blackcurrant. Very nice.
Very nice.
Very nice. In the Pastito, something a bit different. Mark and I were at an event at the weekend over at the NEC. We were at the Hemp and CBD Expo.
We was there.
We were, and it was awesome. We could learn a thing or two from these boys. We really could. But I think that's something that we'll be discussing either later on tonight or maybe on Sunday.
We'll discuss that on Sunday.
Yeah, I think Sunday. It was a really eye-opening event when it came to how organised the advocacy was and the way that they actually advertise their products at the expo. It was really interesting. So in that, I have some Peng, which is Mana Mana.
Mana.
Subida. Been trying it out. The gents at the store kindly gave us a bottle to review, so there will be a written review going up. I don't do video reviews. Mark's the expert at that. So,
well, I know I do it.
All right, he does it.
Yeah, I just press.
We
the
know
buttons.
he's good.
Yeah, but you just.
Oh, that's my line. Finally, single coil Zeus X, and in that I am running some watermelon on ice. It is good. I don't normally do watermelon. This is gorgeous. It's a really semi-candied watermelon, but just a little hint of ice.
How are you getting on
it.
with that single coil?
Really good. The only thing I'm finding is thin it out too much, and you're going to end up with a gobful. Jake, calm yourself. You've got to be really careful. We know the Zeus is a bit finicky when it comes to wicking, but with the single, you've got to be so careful you don't go too far the other way. Yeah. But no, I'm really enjoying the single coil in it.
Awesome. I was just thinking about Chris there. You know when you peak, Chris? You know your peak of your heart?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you thought about renting out, advertisement space?
I haven't thought about that.
I think it could be a way that you could earn some serious money.
Yeah, my head's down all the time. You might as well. Right? Jeez.
Yeah, thank you for that, Irish. Poor BFG, a face for radio and a voice for writing. Yes. Cheers.
That's
Oh,
very
yeah.
nice. So, Chris, what are you on?
I am on the usual stuff here. The Drag 1 with Twisted Messes TM24 Pro. Like that a lot, obviously. Got the topside dual with the drop dead on top there. The Luxottic NC with the dead rabbit and brass butcher cap. Do not pay attention to that drip tip, god damn it. What the hell is that noise?
You haven't rubbed it, have you?
No, I haven't. What was that noise? I heard a loud
noise?
hissing.
That sounded like someone's...
That was me.
Ah,
Oh, okay. Wow, that's loud.
that is loud.
Holy
It's when
cow.
I'm stood next to a microphone, for God's sake.
And what I'm building on right now, new toy for me, came right from a very good friend of mine, Mr. Clown Vapes. We've got the Rig Pig from American Made Products, and the Rig Pig, or the...
Is it camo, that one?
No, that's actually all patina.
That is gorgeous.
I do hope you're going to straighten those coils up, though, son.
Oh, of course, I'm not done with that one yet.
Do you know I'd be mega tempted to clear coat that?
Yeah?
Yeah,
I think he did,
To
to
keep
be
that
honest with
patina.
you. I think he did. It looks like he did.
Now, see,
Rachel wants to know, have you cleaned your drip tip yet?
No, negative. Negative.
Jeez.
That's a
Yeah,
big
slip
old
of the tongue, Irish. No need for that. Jesus, BFG, if you stood next to a microphone, you're shorter than Vic. No, I'm not.
Well, I'll let Chris carry on with his... We want to see this build
I'd
properly.
like to see his face.
I'm not very good at building round wire coils, especially in decks like this. I'm more...
Yeah.
I enjoy 4-post or 3-post with 4-hole decks. These are just a 2-hole deck, 2-post, but yeah, it's janky, but it'll work.
Good stuff.
Good stuff. Yeah, be right. I think your leads are a
Not
bit
bad
long.
Cam. Good evening, Big Guns. Good evening, Mark. How you doing, mate?
And Bill, yes, if I grabbed hold of it, it'd be nice and shiny.
Holy crap!
Wow.
Big good evening to Noel as well. I haven't seen Noel in ages.
Wow. What's up, Chris?
I just realized. Remember the issue I was telling you about where I had to build on the Rig Pig?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have to dry burn it on the Rig Pig. Unregulated. I don't like doing that at all, ever. I don't recommend it to anybody. Always use regulated if you can, but I'm not going to have much of a choice on this one.
Charlie says, bang.
Bang! That's right. Charlie says
Bless
bang.
you. And this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is how not to dry burn your coils.
Yeah, don't do this. Don't do this at all.
He's a professional.
Yeah.
Is this number 7 coming up? That's all I'm asking. Ka-ching!
Yeah, everybody get ready for your
911
standby.
on standby.
Start recording.
That's right, Bunny. 911 on standby, please.
I'd be more worried about looking out for Chris dripping off the ceiling. Right.
I did do my math. And this should be well above series vapability.
What you got? 28 gauge.
No, this is, I changed it out for 26 because the 28 gauge just was not working for me at all. So I went 26 gauge. I've got about 10 wraps on there. Should be around a 0.5, maybe a 0.51.
Yeah.
We try guns. We do try, mate.
Oh,
Did I see Frank's in?
I'm sure.
Frank, how you doing, mate?
Frank.
Hey, Frank.
Yeah, how's it doing, Frank? So, Steve.
Yes, darling.
It's that time, innit? We might as well crack in while we're all hot and bothered.
Oh, where are we going to start? Tell you what. Let's start with... now, how do you pronounce this other than twat? Cuomo?
Governor Cuomo.
Cuomo.
Yep.
It's not the word I'm thinking of. Starts with the same letters, but not the word I'm thinking of.
And a lot shorter.
Here's the quote of the week. Is vaping better than smoking? technically yes, but so what?
Yeah.
So what, you muppet? You have just gone straight from this is about healthcare to this is about money. And if anything ever illustrated that point, this muppet on camera. Now, I've been watching some of the videos on Facebook with the American media about the guys from, now it's Vaping Legion, isn't it, that have been doing the demos.
Matt Elliott. Oh
What a
my
guy.
God.
Yeah.
What a stand-up dude. What a fighter, man. I don't know if you guys watched the New York hearing.
I watched a lot of it.
Bits and pieces.
Lord. He got up and was the most animated advocate for vaping there. His was by far the best testimony I'd heard yet. He went so far as to quote Hitler, and it was identical to what they were going against here in America. About how to, the children, but they don't care. So, but yeah, if you guys haven't had a chance to watch it, definitely go check out that hearing and check out Matt's testimony. Matt Elliott, he's a great dude.
Definitely. I mean, and the good thing is there was passion in it, but it was still respectful.
Yeah.
This wasn't resorting to effing and jeffing, or cheap shots. This was an impassioned plea, but in a very respectful manner, and it was factual. There was no.
But saying that, if you listen to the hearing, though, most of them were all factual. And I think most of the people that were actually stood up for vaping were very, very, very respectful.
And I think that's what's led to that horrific soundbite from the governor, because there's nowhere else to go.
No. The scary thing is, though, we've now got one in Canada, haven't we?
The rumblings are there. Yeah.
That is, I saw the kind of like the press release of that one where they did the interview with the three people from the Health Canada. That wasn't good either. The person that's in hospital at the present moment with lung problems, they're saying youth. We don't know the actual age. We don't know the genre, so we don't know if he's a male or female. But what I took away from it was the worst bit about it was when there was asked about if it was a cannabis related tank or that he or she's been vaping. Basically, they turned around and said, I mean, I'm not exactly saying the words that they said, but I'm paraphrasing. But basically, yeah, we know exactly what it is. We know what make it is, but we're not going to tell you. But it's vaping.
Pretty much. I mean, this follows Ottawa have been putting a lot of pressure on Health Canada anyway.
Yeah, but Health Canada's only just got their regulations sorted out in regards to vaping, and now this is spiked up.
Gab Evans, you're absolutely right. As long as the MSA money keeps coming in, they don't care how many get sick or die. However, I will amend that statement to say that does not mean we need to give up the fight. Continue. Continue.
100%. Good evening, Goober. Fantastic post, mate. Glad to see that the views are up on Goober Opinions. Awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, the quote from Mackie, who's the gentleman that was speaking, said the individual was using an e-cigarette at least daily. Health officials were aware of the brand of vape being used and whether or not the person was vaping a nicotine or cannabis product. They did not wish to disclose it publicly. The rationale for it was that would imply that this is something coming from one brand, when clearly looking at the international evidence, that's not the case. What international evidence? The only evidence I can see is coming from the States. That's THC pods.
Yeah.
Yep.
They're basically quoting exactly the same as America. But the thing is, though, what annoyed me about that actual conference or interview or whatever you want to call it is that they already know this is Health Canada. These are the professionals. They know what was in the vape. They know what the brand of the vape is, but they're not wanting to put that out in public.
No, because they know
It's not
that
vaping, probably.
it won't vilify our style of vaping. It'll vilify the THC cartridges, and they don't want to do that. They want to encompass everything together.
I'm just going to put this in chat. This is a channel worth having a look at, especially if you're in Canada. It's called Reg Watch. Really is worth having a look at. He does some really good interviews, and that is really good, worth having a look at.
Now, while we're talking about the ongoing issues in the States and Canada, I just want to highlight a story that we came across this evening. UK is actually being urged to follow and ban flavours. Now, this is coming out of Europe, so it's not coming out from the UK, and Public Health England have made their position very, very clear. But this is from the European Respiratory Society Tobacco Control Committee, a body made up of medical experts and scientists, which I'm going to put in little air quotes there. And basically, they're saying they ban flavours from cigarettes because they know it attracts young people. And Professor Charlotte Pissinger then goes on to start reiterating the bull that we already know is bull, that flavours attract youths. And she even goes so far as to say you can walk into a shop and on one side is e-cigarettes and on the other side is candy. Well, in a newsagent, yeah. In a corner shop, yeah. In a supermarket, yeah. Not in a vape shop. Now, even our local B&M, which does sell drinks and things, the drinks are well away from the counter.
Yeah, but I can go into a vape shop now and they sell coffee.
Yeah. This is it. I don't see anybody screaming that 17-year-olds are enjoying a delicious low-fat latte.
One of the best, honestly, one of the best arguments that I've heard this week in vaping related to kids. The devices are enticing kids because they can plug them into a computer.
Really?
Really? Yeah, honestly.
That's the best they could come up with.
That's one of the quotes on that Canada one that they came up with. They're enticing children because they can plug these devices into computers.
This wasn't from a hockey mom, was it?
Honestly?
Might have been.
It's crazy.
That's what I see. Like, every time I hear the word pave, all I can think of is just a bunch of soccer moms in their minivans standing around us in a circle. We gotta kill vaping. We gotta save the children.
Sorry, I've just seen Noel's comment. Low-fat latte, the bastards. Think of the children. Noel, I have missed you so much, mate. Gaily, good evening.
How you doing, Gail?
It's got to the point that it's sort of like they've run out. They've completely now run out of reasons.
Well, we're into it's to protect the youth, which is always the fallback position when they know that if people really start looking at this, they're going to realise what a bunch of corrupt so-and-sos they are, and I am doing so well not to swear tonight.
And that's why I'm not a Democrat or a Republican. I'm a libertarian. Keep your hands out of my family. It's my job to parent my child, not yours.
See, what gets me, that makes me chuckle, right, you've come up with these kids that have taken ill and they're in hospital and unfortunately with a loss of life as well. No one's actually asking the question, well, they're underage, so they shouldn't have the product in the first place. Where are they getting it from? Them two questions seem to be completely void. They seem to almost bypass them questions. It's straight away.
Don't care.
Well, no, right. We're all interested in blaming the devices. We're blaming the industry. But that's like turning around and saying because of the deaths by road accidents, it's the Ford's manufacturing company that's at fault.
Right.
For starters,
I get it.
for starters, right. In your country, it's between what? Well, it's going to be eventually 21, isn't it, before they can have an e-cigarette? Well, 18 in some states, 21 in some states. In Canada, I think
all tobacco products, not just e-cigs, but all tobacco products.
In Canada, I think it's 19. In this country, it's 18. So how are they getting hold of these things? But no one's interested in that point.
No.
They're quite happy to... I mean, when you look at anything that's illicit... you shouldn't be redoing it. So anything that's a sin tax, so you've got alcohol and all things like that. I can't see the government's going after the alcohol companies because someone's got drunk and beat his wife up.
And they've got, raspberry, lime, strawberry, watermelon flavored alcohol, and they're not saying, oh my God, think of the kids on that. Like,
well, let's face it, you don't even have to go as far as alcohol. All you have to do is go to Nicorette.
Yep.
All sprays, they've got different flavours. So
Mixed berry, mint.
Our nicotine ets and the gum and the patch and all that lot, are they enticing for kids as well? I just think, I mean, we've gone over this quite a few times. I think it's just a bad excuse. I really do.
You're not kidding. I mean, the problem is, and India was a perfect illustration of this.
God.
So India has effectively, for those who aren't aware, and I'm sure you will, they banned vaping, but they've done it by the back door. So what they've done is, and let me pull up my information so I don't give you any falsehoods. They've criminalised the sale, distribution and import of all vape devices and e-liquids, but say personal use is not a punishable offence. So, let's take the first bit into account. So if the mod or the coil dies, or your bottle of juice empties, unless you can find some dodgy backstreet dealer, forget it. Yeah? But the bit that concerned me was they started... justifying it by protecting youth, and they started referring to the deaths in the States. What nobody seems to have highlighted is the fact that the Indian government owns nearly 30% of a tobacco monopoly within the country. Yeah, where's that bit? Because I'm not seeing that in the mainstream. But what it appears is more and more countries, especially in Asia, because Asia at the minute seems to be going through a real hard backlash on vaping. They're using the excuses that have come up in America to justify their banning of a product. The flavour bans in America, another justification.
Yeah, the kids' argument is they're just scapegoating children.
Yeah.
They're looking for a scapegoat, and that's the easiest way to go.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the other thing, and again, very similar moves to New York and Michigan, India used an emergency order. So it skips the judicial, democratic process, and it's using ordinance to force through a ban.
Yeah. See, even Texas right now is going through that, but they're doing it city by city right now. They haven't done a state ban yet, but they're pushing it city by city. And there was another state, too, that was going through very similar processes. I don't know, but I strongly feel that on this trend of states that are forcibly pushing through these executive orders, I think New Jersey is going to be the next. I think New Jersey is going to be one of the next.
DC, Mary Che over in DC wants to see a complete ban of all flavoured e-liquids and pods. Now, the other thing to bring into this argument, and it's not vaping related, look at the timing. What is coming in November 2020?
True.
Over in the States. You have presidential elections. Yeah?
Yep.
there is a lot of political manoeuvring at the minute.
And
I think,
also what's happening in 2020 is bonds need to be paid.
exactly. So, if you look at Michigan, Michigan brought in the ban, then suddenly realised there was a massive backlash, changed their mind, Trump got involved, and blow me, we're back on again.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Give
even
it a rest.
even Trump's backed off.
A
Yeah.
little. Not much. Not much.
And never,
He's left-
a hair.
Yeah,
He's left himself wriggle room,
Yes.
which is a Trump classic,
Yep.
to be fair.
Daytime Frank, you're right. And what that translates into is 42 million vapors.
yeah.
As we said, virtually half the world's vapour's gone.
I tell you one thing, this is going to have ripple effects across us as well. It really will.
Across the world.
Well, yeah, I
International.
mean, availability of devices, the number of companies. I mean, Vic was very eloquent when he reported the India vape. And if you haven't watched Vic's What's Up special, really do go across and have a look.
Yeah. That's why I was mentioning, Vic had mentioned yesterday during that video about how India is going to impact the industry in a very negative way now, where all of these Chinese companies are going to lose a lot of money. Given that, that's almost 50% of their income comes from India.
Yeah, of course it does.
You know what I mean? So
Because I believe that, I think what Vic turned around and said last night was, if you add all of the Americas, if you add all of Europe, it's only half of combined compared to how many people are vaping in India.
Yep. And he
And
said,
it's the fines as well.
yep.
If you
He also mentioned that by end of year, the outlook is that those companies will probably be filing bankruptcy.
Oh, Ben, thank you. Ben's just messaged me something. So this is new. It was released 7 hours ago. It would appear that New York reps Tom Suozio and Peter King are announcing on Thursday a bill that would introduce federal tax on e-cigarettes and codify into law a ban on flavoured e-cigarette and tobacco products. What they're suggesting is that they raise the federal tax on cigarettes from £1 per pack to $3 per pack. Sorry, dollars, not pound. They want to tax e-cigarette products at the equivalent of $3 a pack. So that's a big old chunk. And they want to increase the CDC's Office on Smoking in Health budget to 500 million from 210 million. So where's that coming from? So what they're saying, in New York State, where cigarettes are more expensive than anywhere in the country, our smoking rates and negative health effects are lower than in the States, where tobacco products don't cost as much.
Right.
And the lawmakers have said, we want to take the New York model and use it to improve health outcomes across the country. Balls.
I am late.
And in addition to the flavor ban, I just want to make people aware of this when it comes to New York State. Having watched the entire hearing the other day, people may think that menthol is not going to be included in that. Well, currently it's not, but it was stated that from several council members, it will be brought to Governor Cuomo, and they are pushing to get rid of menthol as well.
Absolutely. I'm doing so well not saying rude words. Good evening, Emily. And Pee-wee. Pee-wee's just put a cracking comment up. They just criminalised 42 million people, took their alternative, and don't know what else to say. Mass murder.
Yep.
Which it is. Vape, quit or die. That's what we're looking at. Now, don't you think it's also interesting? You've got the tobacco agreement, yeah? So all these people that end up stopping vaping and going back on tobacco, good on you, Gailey. All these people that are stopping vaping and going back on tobacco, they have no recourse. These politicians Yeah, I've just increased your chance of cancer,
Hmm.
a long, slow, painful death, millions of families being affected. And what can you do about it? Nothing, because of the master tobacco settlement.
Master settlement agreement. Yep.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
Sorry,
and-
I'm just...
No. By all means. There's a lot of states that are in debt right now to the MSA and to big tobacco, which is a big motivator for them to push for all these bans. And it's not. We're not stupid. We're not not even just as Americans, but as vapers, as citizens of the United States. We're not stupid. We can see what's going on here. We can see that there's a money trail, and that's.
I was talking about this today with a colleague of mine at work, and this is a person that doesn't vape, doesn't smoke or anything, and he literally came to me because he was on about, because he obviously knows that I'm a reviewer and big into me vaping, and he came up to me and asking about obviously these deaths and things like that, and we got talking about it, and I explained all about it and things like that, and we got talking about China. If China was for vaping, you would think that the Chinese companies that sell to the world all this vape gear, especially India, the United States and everything, you would think that Chinese government would start pressurizing other governments about this.
Now, the Chinese government aren't really pro-vaping.
They're not. That's the problem. That's what I was getting to. If they were, it would have been a lot better, because let's face it, China is the most place where everything gets made. Everything that's probably on your desk, what's on my desk, what's on Chris's desk, and probably everybody else's in chat's desk is made from China.
Not everything, but
No, I would say I bet most of it is.
Yes, it is. Most of it is.
They're not stupid by any means, because they are well aware that the amount of income that Shenzhen is producing, to the international...
Because let's face it, I mean, 42,000 people not going to be vaping anymore. That is a big income that they're going to lose. The country's going to lose financially.
Oh, yeah, I mean... I think this is probably the death knell for the smaller manufacturer. But then we as vapors, not only do we lose flavours and juice and things like that, but we're also probably going to see a severe slowdown in any form of advancement of the gear.
And it's same like what Pav's just said, but China's also a massive market for big tobacco as well.
Yeah,
well, it's a huge market. I mean, Mark's just put a fantastic comment up here. I wonder how many vapors are rethinking about going to the States for holidays. Another angle on lost income. And as Gailey's just said, they don't give a monkeys as long as the powerful capitalist elite is still raking in the money, and they are looking for jobs in big pharma. Look at Gottlieb. Yeah.
Look at the head. What was she? One of her Trump's head of the public health stuff, buying stocks in PMI, in Philip Morris.
Yeah.
And then she put in her resignation.
Yeah.
Well, there's a surprise.
Exactly right.
Now I saw another really good comment. I think it was Ben. Right, Ben. 97 billion MSA deficit. Doesn't that just say it all? Yeah.
Absolutely, Mo, bro. What happened in India? No, go ahead there, Steve. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. Chris, go on.
No. Carry on. You guys were talking about something, and I just kind of interjected.
No, I was just pointing out the fact, as you say, 2020, a lot of these bonds become due. You'd go find 97 million in 12 months? Really?
Yeah. And then who's going to have a grip on America then? Big tobacco.
Yeah.
They're going to have control. It sucks. But yeah, no, Mo, you're absolutely right. It's going to have a knock-on effect when it comes to getting a hold of our latest hardware and delicious e-liquids, especially with what happened in India yesterday. these companies, like Vic said yesterday, are going to end up filing bankruptcy by end of year. And what that's going to mean is no new devices, not just for India, but for anyone. For anyone.
But Kevin's just, I mean, the prices of hardware and liquids will probably raise a lot as well. They probably will. They forget your cheap pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be forced into regression again, regressing the advancement of vaping and where we have it today. We're regressing now. We're going to have to go back to the old days where people were making their own vapes out of lights, flashlights and stuff, you know?
Well, there's one thing, I mean, on a positive twist, I know this sounds like we've got to be resourceful and everything like that. If you do get a flavour ban in your state and you can still get hold of tobacco, surely that tobacco, you could buy that tobacco vape and put your own flavours in and get a mix of sorts. I'm not saying that's ideal or anything like that.
Right.
By any means of the imagination, but there is a way.
Yes, and currently DIY is still a way to go at the moment. They have not proposed any bans on the sale, import, or export of liquid nicotine, so that is still a viable option currently at this point in time. Whether that's going to change a month from now or 2 months from now, I don't know. But as it sits right this second, they have not introduced any bans or proposed any bills that would restrict us as consumers from being able to purchase liquid nicotine. If that does happen, however, the only thing I could see as a viable method for them to use would be to restrict the sale and import of liquid nicotine to tobacco manufacturers, to someone who has a tobacco manufacturer's license, a business owner. Those would be, I can only assume, the only people that would be able to actually purchase liquid nicotine and have it imported and distributed to them. But as of right now, that's not even a thing. So DIY is still a possibility for a lot of people here.
I wouldn't, not wanting to sound negative, but there's already a model in place in Australia with that. And it's not going to take them long to start looking at that and thinking, that's how we plugged our hole. Oh, no, I'm not delusional by any stretch of the imagination. I do think that that's going to be on the chopping block at some point. When? Don't know. But do I think that they're going to end up going after that as well, and the import-export sale of liquid nicotine to consumers? Yeah, I definitely think that's going to be a thing that happens. I just don't know when.
I mean, also another thing, on a slightly negative thing as well, it's going to make the FDA's job a lot easier when it comes to the authorising what can be sold and can't be sold when it comes to liquids, because they'll only have tobacco flavours.
Well, yeah, that is true. Bless them. Like, we want to make life easier for them.
Yeah. But can I'll ask a question, because I think it is quite an interesting one. Am I correct? I might be wrong. Am I correct that the FDA has approved propylene glycol?
Has approved propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, and all of these PG-based flavorings. These are all FDA approved because they're used in a wide variety of different applications.
Exactly. So and they're definitely approved by the FDA.
Yes.
Right. So they can't really. So buying them individually, they can't ban it, surely.
No. Speaking of FDA approved devices or products, I just want to go on record and say this. I've done countless hours of research into this already. There was a statement made yesterday on a live stream. I made a comment about it. I'm not going to go into it too deep, but I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page as us. The FDA has only ever approved one product as far as vaping is concerned, and that's the IQOS.
Yeah.
Juul has never been approved. Never, not once. Not their pods, not their device. Nothing about Juul has been approved as of yet. Do I think it's in the running to get approved? Absolutely. Do I think that The FDA will end up approving that. Absolutely. Why? Because it's owned by Big Tobacco. That's the only thing I can think. But
do you know what I've got a feeling? I know this sounds crazy, but I've got a feeling that Ultra will bring out their own pod system that will be FDA approved.
Well, the thing about Altria is they're not really a manufacturing company. They're just an investment company. They're not in the business of manufacturing. They're just in the business of buying companies and making money off of them.
Yeah, well, I still say it might be under a different guise, but I still think that that's what will happen. I really do. I think that is the whole plan.
I don't think you're wrong.
You know what? It's typical this. We're having a serious vaping night, and chat, it's just got so filthy. And I can't join in. It's not fair. Mo, bro, we all know you're on about eating mutton, mate. Nothing else, so.
Oh, Bill Richards, you're right. There are already places here, Bill, that have legislation in place that makes possession of anything more than 4 bottles of flavored e-liquid a distribution charge. You can actually get arrested for having more than 4 bottles on you at a time.
Now, isn't that the proposed Michigan?
Yeah, that's the proposed Michigan.
I think that's one of them, but I know there was another place that had that going on already as well.
No, I did see a comment in a live from one of the truckers, and like he said, he carries a bank of juice with him in the cab.
Yep.
And the thought of driving into Michigan and all of a sudden becoming a criminal until he leaves the state is absolutely ridiculous.
Yep.
Have we heard any news on import?
As far as
flavours?
Yeah, that's going to be gone. That's
a definite. So you can't import flavours.
At least in New York State, that's already gone through. That's already been passed. No, wait, I'm getting my stories mixed up. I'm sorry. In India, importation, exportation.
Oh yeah, no, India, yeah.
Here in the U.S., I haven't heard anything specifically about importation, exportation, but I have heard about distribution, retail sales, and potentially online sales as well.
Now, the cynic in me is saying they can't control kids getting hold of vape products, so how are they going to control a vape ban? Well, a flavour ban.
They won't. Again, they're forcing the U.S. into a black market. They're forcing us into a black market, which is going to do nothing but cause even more issues like we saw with the tainted cartomizers with THC in them.
Well,
we're going to see a lot more of
THC,
those.
it's the acetate, isn't it?
Right. But we're going to see, you're putting other stuff into these vape liquids or THC cartomizers that don't belong in there. And we're going to see more of that because people are going to be mixing this stuff up in their homes and start selling them on the street. And you don't know what you're getting. You can't be 100% sure that what you're getting is actual e-liquid that's not going to harm your body. We know that what we have right now that's regulated is safer than smoking regular cigarettes,
I mean, let's face it. The government, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, if you've got something legal, like vaping is, you, as a government, you've got more regulations with that. You've got more control over that. If you take it away and ban it, then you've got no control over it. So they're actually giving the control away, whereas they can, while it's presently legal to vape, it's legal to manufacturers to make e-juice in flavours and things like that, they can turn around to you as a company and say, look, you have to have this in there. You can't have that flavour in there. You can have this, that and the other while it's legal. But as soon as they actually ban it, they've taken their power away from it as well. Because then it becomes illicit and unregulated. So they're actually they are creating their own time bomb basically.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's
self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's something that we've been mentioning a lot lately. Is that this is a trend in the U.S. government as well? Is that They create problems to solve problems. You know what I mean? They create problems to give something to focus their attention on, and it's not productive.
No.
It's actually very counterproductive.
Well, especially when you take into account that most of this is so that the individuals that are calling for these bans are not basing the call for a ban on data. They're ignoring health advice. They're ignoring I would say 10 years is a reasonable length study. Yeah?
Yep.
So in the 10 years, 6 deaths. Yeah?
Right.
Nothing to do with vaping, and all of a sudden it's all think of the children, think of the children.
Yeah.
If this was correct, yeah, why aren't we seeing the same thing over in Europe? Yeah? Because we're okay, the US is the bigger market, but the UK and France, we're the next on the list.
You see, the thing is, though, I mean, what makes me laugh, really, is that vaping's been going on roughly, just over a decade in the mainstream. Even THC has been vaped longer than we've been vaping.
Yep.
And let's face it, you don't really hear much problems about THC, really, compared to how many people actually have a joint, and use a joint. You don't really hear it. It's only since they've combined in THC with vaping that we've started having a problem. And it's not the actual THC, the cannabis side of it. It's how they are, the acetate part, that's the problem, because obviously it's an oil and that causes the problems in your lungs. So it's not like...
And it's not a necessary part of the process.
Exactly.
It's being added so that they have to use less.
Yeah.
In effect, it's like adding baking powder to Coke. They're cutting it.
Yeah, basically. Yep. I mean, let's face it, vaping devices have been heating up marijuana for a lot longer than they've been heating up e-liquid.
Oh, yeah.
These devices aren't as new as people think that they are. It's just that the way that they're doing it in the black market to make it so it's vapable in these.
I mean, I've been bottling this one for ages. It sounds like I'm going to fart.
I know, I thought
That's better. Oh, fabulous. Right. If these politicians had so much concern over health, more people have been killed by firearm incidents and mass shootings, etc., in the States this year than people smoking illegal THC. Yeah? I'm not seeing a call for a ban on bullets.
No, because
I'm not
they've got
seeing
money.
a call for a ban
the reason
on
why they've got
guns.
that because they've got money behind them.
Exactly.
I haven't seen...
If vaping's as bad as tobacco, ban the bloody tobacco as well.
Well, they won't do that because it's part of the grandfather.
Yep.
This is it. It's all coming back to one thing, the holy dollar. If it's got a Benjamin on the back, we're having it. Yeah?
I mean...
But that's the thing, like, there's so... Here in the U.S., we've got 13 million vapors. You got 42 million vapors in India. There's so many vapors and that buy these products all the time. They're spending a lot of money. These companies are making a lot of money. If the U.S. would just see that, there is a dollar sign to be made here. There really is.
Unfortunately, I didn't save the infogram, but there was an absolutely brilliant infogram about how much New York State was going to lose by banning flavors. How much the vaping industry put in taxes, in jobs, saved in healthcare, and they're just, Grumpy's just said it there, 70,000 opioid deaths annually in the USA.
Yeah, I was going to mention that when you were talking about the gun shootings.
Sorry, dude.
No, that's perfectly fine. That's what I was going to mention too, is like, in addition to the shootings, you've got opioid deaths. a crap ton of them that is way more important for us to focus our attention and money on in trying to help that than there is in
You've got
the vaping.
more problems with prescribed drug addiction.
Well, that's part of the opioid crisis, yeah.
And look at the regulations on that. You know, these idiots up in the various.
Actually, that reminds me. I don't know if you guys saw this. The FDA did approve something just the other day, and they want to make this a fight on flavors. They want to start a war on flavors. Well, here's my argument. How in the freaking hell are you going to approve candy-flavored gummy amphetamines designed for children? How are you going to do that? How? My daughter's 13. She has ADHD. She takes stimulants and amphetamines to help her. She has no problem taking a pill. None whatsoever. Where's the problem? That
Absolutely
did not need
crazy.
to be done.
You see, what scares me more than anything else is the lies. And it's downright lies that they are feeding out, and the media as well. Absolute lies.
It's total misinformation.
Don't get me started. I don't know if you saw it on the Facebook group for Tales, but Mark shared a link that Paul had given, which was an amazing open letter to Channel 7 in Australia, following basically the biggest bunch of cack you've ever seen. And I found the video for it, and they were straight in there with the anti-vaping rhetoric. There was no mention of THC when they were discussing the deaths. They'd got a so-called medical expert in Australia, and I'm sure the gentleman is an absolutely brilliant scientist. However, his knowledge of vaping was so piss poor, I literally had to restrain myself from chucking the phone across the room. Yes, I do have anger issues, but he was saying that there was no long-term studies, that vaping was so new and they just weren't aware of the effects, and that it took over 30 years for the lung cancer issues to be raised with tobacco, etc., etc. You know, and I'm thinking, way to go bending the facts here, son. Because
but that's the trend.
But the College of Physicians was saying about lung cancer for years, and what happened? They got poo-pooed.
Do you know it was on? I think it was Reg Watch that was on about it. I think Brent was on about it on there. They knew far back as the Second World War, the Nazi Party knew that cigarettes caused cancer. That's how far back. And the only time that the Americas started saying, "Oh yeah, it does cause cancer," when it was passive smoking.
Right.
That's the only time that they was bothered. If you was affecting the person themselves, they weren't bothered about. But because it was passive smoking, that's the only time that America actually started being interested.
Oh yeah, and I mean a billion lives. There was an amazing section on that where they were pointing out how big tobacco had lied, and the political factions that had got involved in that. You know, part of the Master Settlement Agreement, and legally binding, as I believe, was that money was supposed to go to stopping tobacco use. Has it? No. It's building a highway.
Yep. Or a wall.
Yeah. Absolutely crazy.
But what the scary thing is, though, there's probably about 50 odd people in chat at the present moment. There's 3 people here talking. We're a tiny little proportion, but every single one of us can see this. Every single one of us, we're all on the same page. We're all agreeing that this is a load of rubbish.
Yeah.
surely there must be more people thinking that this ain't right, even if they don't vape or smoke.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I had a non-vapor, non-smoker actually talking to me the other day. We went shopping. It was the cash register, the cashier was looking at my hat, the same one I'm wearing now. This product contains nicotine, and she was kind of appalled by what's going on herself. Just she didn't understand it. She made the comment that these things were designed for adults to help them quit smoking. They were never meant to target children. She doesn't understand what the fight is all about. She doesn't understand why they're doing this.
Hmm.
So yeah, you're right. Even non-smokers, non-vapors, even they have this mentality that something's just not right.
Hmm.
Even if you're not a vapor, right now I'd be concerned because once vaping's gone, what's next?
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because all I can see now is the political bodies in various countries are showing the lack of respect that they have for the people that actually put them in that position in the first place. And I'm not advocating for people running wild in the streets and rioting and all the rest of it. But if I was a politician right now, I'd be really worried.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I would be absolutely terrified that people are going to start waking up, and they are starting to wake up.
Oh, yeah.
They have in the States, they have in India, yeah. In Britain, people are starting to look at Brexit, and we're realising the bull that we're being fed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is not going to happen overnight by any means of the imagination. Because, especially with politics in this country and in America, things take so long to go through. But, so like, it's blatant, it's just so blatantly obvious that it's all to do with the money. If you look, there was a map, I think Grim Green put it up, and there was a map highlighting the settlement agreement, and every one that was highlighted in red are the ones that are trying to ban or have banned the flavours.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so like, right, the correlation was, it was scary, absolutely scary. It was so like, it's just blatantly obvious, you can see it.
Mm-hmm. And watch, you're right, Gail. The way things are going, there are going to be riots in the streets, and not just that, but watch the incarceration rates rise. Watch our jail populations rise. You're going to see
how they're going to fund that?
Exactly. We're already in a nation that is overpopulating their prison systems already. And you're just going to increase that, and it's going to cost you more money in the long run.
But I also on about India. I think India was quite sneaky, because while the world is busy looking at America, they dropped their bombshell.
Daily cost.
Well, this is it, and I think they've done it on the back of the issues in America, and it's the typical, isn't it? Look over here, look over here, look over here. Don't see what that hand's doing.
Yeah. Because, I mean, we've been reporting about India for a couple of weeks now.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of... While there has been a lot of sort of your PAVE organisations, or the Indian equivalent, all demanding a ban on vaping, there has been a number of Indian medical experts who have pointed out the lives it's saving. And we are talking, like, we're not talking money here, we're talking lives. We're talking families. Yeah. And for God's sakes, if you're trying to put a cost on a life, good luck.
Yeah. Seriously. And just to give you a little taste of what it's like here in the States, it costs roughly $100 a day per prisoner for the government to keep you there. So each day, it's another $100 that they have to pay to keep you there. And that's just for one person. And we're overpopulated in our jail system.
It's scary. We are in a scary, scary time.
Yep.
Nita, Hello.
But I think they're going to see that. I'm hoping that they're going to see that. I'm hoping that they're going to be able to link that directly to what they've done as far as prohibiting this community, this industry. I think, and I hope that they see that as a direct cause for the rise in incarceration rates, the rise in health issues because of people buying black market e-liquid. I hope that they can see all these things and be like, oh, we screwed up. We put ourselves in a big hole in a big way. We need to fix this, and now.
The thing is, Chris, what you've got to also take into account is that $100 is just the cost once they're actually in jail. You've got the court system to fund.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the public defenders to fund. Yeah? You've got the strain on the courts of actually dealing with real criminals rather than dealing with somebody who's vaping. And just for a comparison, Chris quoted $100 there a day for
Incarceration. Yep.
Incarceration costs. Yeah? In Britain, the info I've got here is, on average, it costs £37,543 a year to keep one prisoner in jail for a year.
That's crazy.
I've got to admit, it's going to be interesting to see what India do. It really is. I mean, all right, it's hot off the press virtually. I mean, it's only, 24 hours roughly since the incident happened. I want to see what happens in India now. Because I think Vic turned around and said something like 20% if they start shouting, there's going to be some changes.
Mm-hmm. Like
and if
13 million.
If India can revoke this ban, it's going to show the United States up as well.
Yeah.
So.
Because I'm pretty
Viva
positive
la resistance.
they're looking at India right now and going, damn, we need to do that.
Mm.
You know, and it's just a matter of time, I think.
Mm.
No, I mean, speaking on sort of reporting of stuff that we touched on, you know, the vaping in India and keeping an eye on it. Wonder who controls media over there.
Over here in the States or in India?
No, well, I know in the States we're looking at Bloomberg or Maxwell, really, aren't we? I mean,
them and the Clinton administration as well. They own a big stake in media network. Yeah.
See, you think Bill would have invested in dry cleaners? If he'd done that before instead of media, that would have got him out of so much bother.
So much bother.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, the main backlash that appears to be in the stuff that I'm finding for the Indian issue is everybody seems to be reporting the same thing. The reason to ban vaping is little to do with its impact on health.
Neat has turned around and said, I would like Vic to recheck those stats. According to Associated Vapors of India organisation, an organisation, see, it's always better if BFG says it, there are 1.5 million vapors in India.
I don't believe that for a half a second. There are 1.38 billion population in India and only 1.5 million vapors. I don't believe that for a half a second. Not even a little bit.
Now, interestingly, the WHO figures actually put 42 million as the amount of vapors worldwide. So, but that was off a BBC news item that I looked at this afternoon, and to be honest, I don't particularly trust some of the figures that the BBC tend to throw out.
I'm not saying it's wrong, but I find that extremely hard to believe. With a population that size, only 1.5 million being vapors, and that's not counting the ones that they haven't counted.
Nita says it's 42 million worldwide.
Yeah, which is the figure I saw. Now, the India today are actually reporting nearly 1.5 million in India consuming cigarettes, which that's
Are
still
you
a hell
kidding
of
me?
a
The
chunk.
U.S. has more than that. The U.S. has 13 million.
Yeah, but if you look at the figures, 70% of male Indians smoke.
Oh, I get that. Yeah.
So it would.
Pav's just turned around and said, India Vape Association claims 1.5 million, the BBC claims 42 million.
Yeah. So here's more misinformation. Like who's right?
I would probably say the 1.5 is more realistic. When you look at the incomes, when you look at availability,
Let's face it, India's a blooming poor country.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Well, not necessarily.
Right. Oh, right. I'll rephrase that one.
Yeah.
You've got your elitists that aren't. They're very well off, and then you've got the majority.
Mumbai, you've got Delhi, etc. They are big population centres, and yes, they do have. We're not referring to them as a third world country by any means, but when you start getting out into the countryside areas of India, you aren't seeing, plumbing and electric supplies and all the rest of it.
Mm-hmm. They're India's
so 1.5 would make sense.
India is the sixth wealthiest country with a total of 8,230 billion USD.
Yeah. But, how many of the call centres and things are going to affect that figure?
Well, don't forget also the pharmaceutical business over there, too. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. As a country as a whole, it is not a poor country.
No, yeah.
But
where that money's coming from.
Yeah.
The populace.
Yep, the populace, general population, yeah.
I would say
destitute.
Are below the bread line.
Yeah, destitute, poverty-stricken.
Paul, when Paul was on, we were talking about Tasmanian pharma company, and they produce something like 40% of the world's opioids. 40% of the world's opioid base. There's a big difference in that. And I was amazed because I never had Australia down as such a huge farmer base. So it wouldn't surprise me. Here we go, pharmaceutical industry in India. So we've got, it was valued at $33 billion in 2017. Generic drugs account for 20% of the global exports. The government started to encourage the growth of drug manufacturing by Indian companies in the early 60s and with its Patent Act in the 70s. So there is a historical... And India is exports. Right. The export of pharmaceutical products from India increased from 6.23 billion in 2006-07 to 8.7 billion in 2008-09 with an annual growth rate of 21%. And the countries they export to: States, 3.8 billion, 32.9% share. Well, I think that pretty much says a lot anyway. The States is one of the biggest pharma markets for them. Everything else after that, we're talking millions rather than billions.
It's scary to think that this little device
is causing so much problem.
Causing the world to shit itself.
Yeah, but you know why? Because it snuck up behind them and it gave them a cheeky tickle when they were least expecting it.
Yeah. This little device that I've got in my hand has caused so much panic.
See, I've got one of them as well, and this does the same.
But it's true, isn't it? Let's face it.
Oh, yeah. Now, just going back to the pharma industry in India, let me just read the largest companies out, because this is interesting. Pfizer, GlaxoSmithKline, Aventis, Merck,
Johnson.
Johnson at number 5, Arigen number 6, Novartis at number 7, and Roche at number 8.
Look at you, pop pickers.
In at number 1 with a bullet, Pfizer.
Pee-wee, that's exactly my standpoint on everything that's going on right now. Me personally, I'm fine vaping on tobacco-flavored e-liquid. I'm fine with that. However, there's a lot of other people that won't. And those are my concern, is for the newly transitioned vapors and for the smokers that want to quit and could quit using these devices, but will never get that chance because they can't do tobacco-flavored anything. That's kind of the point for me, anyways, was when I started vaping, I didn't use tobacco-flavored juice. Why? Because I wanted to separate myself from that.
Exactly.
I did not want to be anything close to what I was before. That taste is nasty. I wanted to get away from it. I wanted something that tasted better and was going to work for me to get me off of them. And that's exactly what happened.
Chris, you are repeating virtually every single vapor that I know.
Yep.
Literally across the pond over here, the amount of people that have turned around and said, look, I just want nothing to do with tobacco. I don't want a tobacco flavour. I want something else.
Yeah. Well, I don't mean to be repetitive or trying to, copy anybody else. I'm not saying that. I really would be okay with vaping a tobacco-flavored liquid. I've done it before. But I know that I'm going to be okay. I'm one of those hobbyists that will be okay at the end of all of this. But it's...
I mean, let's face it, most people that's in chat, us three, definitely, we would be okay. We would get around it. That is not... This isn't that issue of how we're going to survive. This is the actual issue of you are a law-abiding US citizen who pays his taxes, and you are being told that you can't have something that is 95% safer than you having a cigarette.
Absolutely.
It's your liberty, your right. And it is your right as a human being.
Right. Even removing the target of vaping and e-cigarettes. Remove that target from the equation altogether. This is just another way for the government to strip us of our rights. They've taken our right to choose a healthier alternative, something that we choose as adults to put inside of our own bodies, and they're trying to control that. And you can't take away our right to choose. It's human right, it's constitutional right. It shouldn't be done, but
it's a healthcare choice that you make.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just like owning a gun. You make the choice to go out and purchase a weapon. That's your right. That's your Second Amendment right. They're taking away your right to choose. Essentially, they could do the same thing with guns. They could turn around tomorrow and say, nope, no more purchase of guns, no more sales of guns, no more anything. And it's still going to come down to the same concept. They're taking away your right to choose. They're taking away your right to do something that you have all due right to do.
I mean, let's face it, at the end of the day, they're quite happy for you to have a cigarette.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you
because
can
it
have a
makes the
cigarette.
money. They get the money down the line.
The more cigarettes you smoke, the more money we make. So, yeah, we're going to promote this.
I'm really concerned that we're living in a world at the minute where it's all right to give an 80-year-old a boner with a little blue pill. But when somebody decides they're going to stop smoking, all of a sudden we're going to get involved.
Yep.
Absolutely crazy. What's the point of having these little blue pills that do wonderful things for our senior citizens if we ain't going to get old enough to actually need them?
Right.
Yeah, because they want you sick, though, don't they?
Yeah.
And that's a question that I have to ask, is that before all this vaping problem, we saw the numbers, all right, in these studies and these reports of how much the smoking rate has gone down in teens, but the vaping rate has gone up. well, if vaping wasn't a thing for the youth, let's go back to those numbers for just a second. Let's watch those cigarette numbers, the number of teens smoking go way back up. And then what's the issue? Like, why weren't you guys fighting against that to begin with? You guys weren't pushing for kids to get off cigarettes as hard as you are with kids to get off vaping.
See, the thing is, though, the best thing about it, though, is the actual study that there was done. It's where they're basing the child part of it. They're not basing it of a regular vapor, like we are, regular vapors, or that's actually gone down. What they're looking at is the 30-day, if you've tried it or not. And that's where they're basing this whole epidemic on, is they're basing it on the 30-day if you've tried it.
Yep.
Well, that's like saying, I've tried Brussels sprouts, but I don't like them.
Right.
I tried Brussels sprouts once and didn't like them. Do you ban Brussels sprouts? Because it's that logic. It's because...
Or do you push through legislation where it says you have to have Brussels sprouts every meal? You know,
it's I mean, okay, yeah, we don't. You speak to any vapor, it doesn't matter who they are. They don't want children vaping. They don't want children smoking. They don't want children to having alcohol. I mean, let's face it, we're all grown adults. I mean, it's the typical case. You're a kid, you want to be an adult, and when you're an adult, you want to be a kid again. It's the human nature side of things. But you've got to get that into perspective. The actual percentage of actual kids that are taking up vaping on a regular basis compared to children that are taking up cigarettes on a regular basis.
Yeah. So
you get that logic, right? Okay, out of the two evils, which is the worst evil? And obviously, cigarettes is the worst evil. Yeah. So then you go on to the next bit. Right, we put in legislations. Right, we make sure that at a certain age, you are not allowed them. It's against the law. So why are they not looking into how these children are getting hold of these devices that are not intended for them?
100%.
And that is not, at the end of the day, it is not Jules' fault, it is not Aspire's fault, it's not anyone's fault that children are getting hold of them.
No.
It's the people that are actually selling it to them.
Yep. Or buying it for them.
Yeah, it's them. I mean, let's face it. You don't see kids driving around in cars on your freeway because they would be stopped straight away. They'd find out, how did you get hold of this car?
In all honesty, there's no money to be made in going after the people that are getting these kids the vapes. The best option for them financially is get rid of it across the board, not just for the kids. They just use that as, like we were saying earlier, they just use that as a scapegoat. They don't care about where these kids are getting them from. They just don't give a shit. They care about getting rid of it altogether. And
I mean, it's like I think I said it last week on last week's episode. Right. Be really strict about it. Get rid of them from all your petrol stations, your 9, 10, 11s, whatever you call them, your corner shops. Get rid of them completely. Stop even online sales. Ban online sales. And the only place that a person can buy an e-cigarette is from an authorised shop.
Yep. I think that makes great sense.
I know, yeah, it's taking away a lot of liberties and all that kind of thing. And it's all like, oh, great, I won't be able to go. I've got to go to a shop. Right. If you go to a shop that is properly licensed, like they are doing, they pay a license for it, and it's very similar to how we have in restaurants where you have, your 5 stars and that lot, and they are regularly checked. That would stop it. No children under the age of 18, or your case 21, would be allowed in the shop, irrespective. They would not be allowed to be in the shop. If they want to really, I mean, I know it's not exactly ideal and it's not how we want it, but I'd rather that than them actually banning it or banning flavours.
It's the dispensary model with the cannabis. It's the same model and it works. They've proved it works.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then the only other thing that they would be getting hold of would be black market. Now, the black market side of it, they'd have to do exactly like how they do illegal drugs.
Yep. That's it.
a war which they're already losing, you know.
Of course. With
Now,
lots of things.
Pee-wee's just thrown up a very interesting comment. After the flavour ban, they'll blame DIY because the uneducated will mix sugar, sweeteners, etc. in it. That is going to be an issue.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Because if they're clamping down on vaping the way they are, yeah, YouTube, etc., that knowledge base is slowly going to start eroding as well.
Mm-hmm. Also, Fondle Me Balls asked us earlier if zero nicotine juice is a tobacco item. Yeah, technically anything that goes inside of a vapored product, tank, cartomizer, otherwise, doesn't matter, is considered a tobacco product. So yes, 0 milligram nic juice will have to go through the same process as 3, 6, 9, 12, 18 milligram nic juice. Not only that, but we already know the fight right now is a fight and a war on flavors. So even 0 milligram nic juice is still going to have those flavors in it. So they're still going to attack that no matter what.
Now that's interesting because, I mean, the FDA, they're saying it's a tobacco product because it contains nicotine.
No, because it's a vapor product. Because it's something that deals with vapor and e-cigarettes.
But sure, I thought the only way they could have a legal control over a substance is if it contained the nicotine.
Nope. By deeming regulations, anything that is to be used within one of these devices, inside of a tank, anything, does not matter what it is. My coils are considered tobacco products.
I know New Jersey, and they increased the taxes, and that's including
lots of places
zero nic juices.
Absolutely crazy.
Hello, John Fox.
I just wanted to address that.
It's crazy.
I mean, this deadline with the MSA and a lot of the bills and the bonds, that really should be getting a lot more air than it's actually getting.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a root cause straight off. And by the way, Fondle, love the name. That's awesome.
Fondle.
Bless.
Yeah, you're not kidding. The world's gone mad. It really has gone mad. But we've got to look also at the actual people. Are these the same people that tried to ban alcohol back in the 20s? Are they the same type of people?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
The religious groups, the concerned parents, the outraged social warriors. The difference being, it used to be a letter to the local editor of the paper instead of somebody going onto Twitter, Instagram, whatever. For me, the way this has gone with PAVE, etc., yeah, the first thing that this shows to me is that if you get these eco warriors, you know, the social warriors, the soccer mom groups and all the rest of it, there ought to be a legal requirement for them to disclose funding, any involvement with big tobacco, etc.
I'm a big fan of the whole full transparency outlook. There needs to be full transparency. We need to know exactly what's going on when it's going on, because all of this misinformation, all of this secretive behind closed doors bullshit, it's got to stop. It's got to stop.
Too right. And the use of the fake news cry by a certain orange president. Oh boy, has that guy got some questions to him?
Yes, it's very good, very good. It's the best.
I had to kill myself at the meme I saw where he said, the rings I blow are the biggest and the best. Oh yes.
It's the best. There's nothing better. It's the best. It's the biggest O's.
Do you know something? Do you know we're not that far away from pitchforks and burning people at the stake here?
Lynch mobs.
Oh, with the hysteria, yeah.
Yeah. We 100%. Are not that far away.
Well, I know Gail mentioned it earlier, and I really do think that she was right. I think we are going to see, the more this goes on, I think we are going to start to see riots. We're going to see vapors start to act out.
But I've got to agree with Vic. And Vic Mullen did put a mega big point across. Your companies aren't helping.
No.
I mean, I'm not being disrespectful to anyone from across the pond, but Vic is actually right. Your companies are still quiet.
Yep.
I've not heard anything from an American company yet.
Nope.
I think the only American company that anybody knows of is Bloody Jewel.
Well, I've heard from Purge too. Matthew Kleizo's done a few videos as well. But he hasn't, as far as I know, they haven't really pushed the fight in any direction. I mean, I could be very wrong on that. I'm not putting them down at all, but I haven't personally seen them
Well,
fight.
I'll tell you one thing. From our standpoint, and I'm sure people agree here in chat as well, from us looking across the pond, all we see is the advocates are people that vape, not the companies.
Yep. The likes of Vape Legion, etc.
Yes, we hear of Kassar and people like that. Yeah, we hear of Kassar, all that good stuff. But I haven't heard anything from the companies themselves.
No.
And that does worry me. Because you've got you guys doing the best that you can do with Advocate. And if you had the backing of the actual people that you're supporting, it would be absolutely brilliant. You would be a force to reckon with. But it just seems very, very quiet on the company side of it.
Now that's interesting from Bill. One trade association has spoken out they want money from the vapors. Why?
Yeah.
We're already buying the products.
How much money do they want?
Absolutely crazy. John's just said he heard Naked 100 have been doing something. Good. It's about time. When we were facing issues in the UK, when European Parliament wanted to make vaping a medical device,
oh boy,
everybody got involved.
Yeah.
The NNA, fantastic job. But that was with the companies. They were with us every step. Now, I could be wrong on that, but I seem to remember there was a lot more involvement.
It would be nice.
Crazy.
It would be nice. I mean, let's face it. The amount of people that I've spoke to regarding advocacy in America that are based in America is absolutely brilliant. I mean, what they're doing is, honestly, the struggle that they are doing is absolutely brilliant. But they need something. It's all well and good people coming up individually and speaking out. They need a bigger voice. They really do need a bigger voice.
And
because at the present moment, because let's face it, you're losing. You're not just losing a little bit. You're losing a big time. You really are.
Interesting. Pee-wee's just said same in Germany. 6 months sale ban on new devices. Not heard about protesting against that from shops. In Spain, they can just sell and I can buy whether there or in China. We are facing problems in Europe. Holland are facing some real issues. Gav's just made a very, very good point. As Vic said, we did it right. We contacted the parliaments. We talked to the Europeans. The NNA were heavily involved with discussions with the European Parliament. Dave Dawn, what a guy.
Oh, what a guy.
I know he doesn't have much to do with it anymore, but he really should go down in history as the guy that saved UK vaping. The amount of work he put in was incredible.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, totally. Right, we've come way past our normal hour.
Yeah, sorry for that, guys.
way past.
It happens.
So, some lighter news. Expo is
Yay.
coming around in October. The return. I had a load of tickets, and the winners. Yay! Winners! Woo! Well, it was a complete mega flop. But to be honest with you, I'm not surprised because there's that many people that's got free tickets and everything. So, the people that did enter, I will put their names up now. There was 3 of them. There you go. You got Jason Smith, Jay Jerry, and AJ State.
Yep.
So, you will be getting an email from me. And because you was the only 3 that entered, I'll be actually sending you 2 codes. So that means that you can go the Saturday and Sunday. There you go. So
or you can take your significant other with you.
Yep, you can do it that way. So
Roll her down a hill.
No.
So congratulations to you 3. You have got the codes. I'll be emailing you them probably tomorrow morning. So there you go.
Congratulations.
I know that everybody's got free tickets. So, but there you go.
I know you all got free tickets, but look, I've got 4 codes, so I might just drop them in some point on Sunday. We'll see.
If I could get a plane ticket, guys, if I could, I would.
You'd need a passport first, Chris.
Yeah.
I know. Like I said, if I could get a plane ticket, I can't get one unless I have a passport.
So if you've got a loved one that still needs a ticket, give us a shout. But I know they'll be giving tickets out left, right, and centre. So yeah. So Jason Smith, Jay Jerry, and AJ State. Oh, you will be sending you an email.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Yeah, it's free. Why not go?
Now, and talking about giveaways, keep your eyes open because a certain handsome young chap in a baseball cap, not you, Chris, recently hit 3K. So we will be celebrating that. Keep your eye open on the channel.
I'm going to be doing a big box giveaway like I do every time that I reach a landmark. Plus, on the show, we will be starting to do some giveaways. Now that we've got... Because obviously, if you didn't know, you can't do actual giveaways on YouTube. YouTube won't allow it. You also know that we can't do giveaways on Facebook. So our hands are kind of a little bit tied. But... because we've actually managed, well, my good fellow here, Steve, has managed to sort out a way that we can do giveaways on the website, we can start doing it that way. So that's what will be coming up on the channel as well. So there'll be little giveaways coming up on the show. So you'll have to keep your check out for that.
Big love to Timmy. He says he gave his free tickets to the builders. He spotted them vaping on a break.
Awesome.
Good for you, man. Good for you,
Awesome.
Oh, I can't wait for my Huggle Bunny. I really can't wait. I've missed my Huggle. It's been a while since we got together.
Does that mean I'm going to have to bring cold towels?
I thought it was
dry
bucket.
ones.
I thought it was bucket of cold water.
Not in my motor, mate. No. I'm not putting that. No. Ice packs. That's the best you
Ice
get.
packs. Okay.
Yeah. As long as you're wiping the condensation from the inside of the windscreen on the drive home, that's fine.
So, yeah, I'll be doing a vlog on Sunday. So it'll be released at some point in Sunday evening. I know Vic and all them are on, but the vlog will be out anyway. I'll keep it short. Well, I want to thank a few people and bits and pieces, plus the giveaway as well. So, yeah. So, Chrissy, my darling friend from across the Pondyloos, you've now got your rig pig all set up and vaping. How's it doing?
It's doing just dandy.
Look at that. Beautiful vapor in his mouth hole.
Oh, I love it. Right in my mouth hole. That's what she said.
That's what she said. So, have we got anything else to chat about before we disappear and let these good people wander off?
No, I think we've extended our welcome this evening. So.
Well, on a final note, I guess I will say one thing, and that's to everybody out there that's fighting the good fight. Guys, keep on keeping on. I know that for a lot of people, they kind of view this as the end point, and they tend to give up fighting when all of these legislations go through. But even though they're going through, guys, it's not time to give up the fight. This is the time that we need to work the hardest. So please, guys, do your part for vaping and keep the fight up, guys. We've been doing a great job so far, and we just need to keep it up.
As long as there's one person vaping instead of smoking, you're saving a life.
Totally. I really want to put my heart out to you guys in India, in America,
and the States,
and in Canada, and Australia. Everyone that's actually fighting for their right to have a safer alternative to cigarettes. My heart goes out to you all. It really does. And yeah, keep up the good fight, because it's worth it. And we all know it's worth it. So I'm going to let Steve sign us out, and then you can pass it over to Lethal.
Well, thank you for joining us. I know we've witted on tonight, and I think we've done very well to keep the tempers as in check as we have.
We certainly have.
Chat, you have been absolutely fantastic, and it's been so fantastic to see names like Bunny and Noel and TVP and all the rest of you. It's been great. It really has. It's like we've wound back a couple of years, back onto the LSV. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you for joining us. As we said, yeah, it's all negative at the minute, but we've got to keep positive. This isn't the end by any means, and if things start to really hit the fan, we'll find a way. We always do. You know? The good will out.
Oh yes, definitely.
So I'm going to pass you over to
Chris.
I'm
Chris.
Okay. Guys, thank you all in chat. Without you guys, we would have no show at all. So thank you guys so much for being involved, and the comments and the points that you guys have made. It's been great hearing from all of you guys. Thanks to all of the spanners. You guys are great as well. Every week you guys are there, so thank you guys. What is your...
Jake, he's being naughty again. I threatened to spank him, but he'd probably enjoy it.
I say...
With his reputation.
Yes, Bill Richards, heads up, chins out, kick him in the balls. Do what you got to do, guys. Yeah, that's all I've got. So remember, guys, that we're the only ones that can pick and choose how positive or negative the days are. So remember to keep your positivity up, keep the smiles on your face, and let that negative just brush off your shoulders. Love you guys. I know things look grim right now, but there will be a light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully it will not be a freight train to run us over. That's what I got. That's what I got.
Cheerful bugger.
Cheerful sod you. Right, guys. Steve, Chris, thank you for an absolutely brilliant show. Guys in chat, thank you as well. Spanners for looking after, especially our little Chris Doyle there. He looks after chat. Thank you so much, kiddos. Just before I do go, a couple of people to always check out. Watch either Matt from Suck My Mod or SMM now. Grim Green's always a good one to have a look at. And also check out Regulator Watch as well. Really a good channel of information. So if you need your heads up or anything like that, they are the places to go, especially in America. Regulator Watch is more based in Canada, but does also the States as well. And I highly, highly recommend you watching him. Brett is really, really good. So, from me and the guys, keep your chins up, kiddos. We're all thinking of yous. And we'll all see you next... We'll see you on Sunday on Tales of the Ohm at 2 o'clock on Sunday. And we'll see you all here on the Ohm Service next Thursday. So, from the guys and myself, good night.
Bye.
Bye.
And for those that joined in with the shoulder brushing, thank you.
Everybody needs to brush it off.
Oh, and Stuart needs to pee.
Oh, bless him.
Wipe your piss flaps.
Chris. Oh.